Welcome into a brand new episode of WSI TV. Enjoy the show.
Welcome back to another brand new episode of Bishop's Move here on WSI TV. I'm Jordan Bishop, and today, before we get to our topic of discussion, I want to remind you to go on over to WSITV.com. You can sign up for our free daily newsletters. You also get instant access to the WSI Vault. Now, the topic I'm bringing to you here today is we're talking about the profit that will sneak up on you. There's a lot of news headlines going on lately, and they revolve around one thing, of course. We're not going to jump into that. We're going to talk about the other things that are falling by the wayside because there are certainly profit opportunities that you can jump on right now. I'm talking about oil. Now, you may be thinking, what's going on with oil? You know, all I've been hearing about is this quarantine, about other things like that. But oil has actually made some big headlines, or it would have made big headlines if it weren't for other things lately. There's some big news surrounding oil here. And one indication of that you may have seen is how cheap gas is. Now, gas doesn't revolve, it's not like the government have lowered the gas prices. There's a reason why gas prices are so cheap right now. And it's actually a good signal for something else that's going on below the surface. Gas is always, so the way we look at gas prices is if they are low, it means there's a surplus of gas. There's a lot of supply, and the demand isn't meeting it. When gas prices are high, it means there's lower supply and, of course, higher demand that's meeting that supply. So just in general, as you're driving around on any given occasion, looking at gas prices, don't just consider it how it's going to affect your wallet with how you're spending and how much it's going to cost, but look at it in a way of how can I profit off this? What are gas prices doing? Is something going on under the surface? But of course, there's something specific going on under this surface, which I'm going to get to right now. And that topic is the Russia-Saudi Arabia oil price war that is going on at the moment. There's been a lot of tensions between the two countries over oil. Of course, they are both massive producers of oil, two of the biggest, with the US being up there as well. So right now, there's been some complications between the two nations. So this all started on March 8th. And like I said, it was sort of smothered in other news that's going around the world lately. What happened with talks about oil production cuts broke down. So the two countries were talking about cutting oil production. So the way oil works, it's elastic. If they see prices are getting too low, they cut the production so prices can retain normal. It's very elastic. It goes up and down with the price of oil here. And those talks broke down. So basically, both countries were saying, had an agreement in place that they were going to cut production to push prices back up. The negotiations broke down and production continued, which is why you're seeing these low price points at gas stations today. U.S. oil actually dropped 34%. So oil, it's a butterfly effect around the world. There's a lot of oil trading going on. So if two of the three biggest oil exporters don't play ball with each other, it means the U.S., even though we weren't exactly directly involved, we do import a lot of oil from those two countries. So that's why we're seeing this oil price drop of 34%, which means your gas is getting fairly cheap. Down here in Florida, it's under $2. But of course, like I said, the news was buried. There's a lot of other stuff going on. And this is a perfect example of why it's so important to tune out that noise and follow, the real news outlets that are going to actually tell you the truth. Of course, I believe here on WSI TV, we're going to bring you this truth. We're digging up those stories that no one else is talking about. Because if everyone's looking one way, there's usually profit opportunities going on over here on the other side that nobody's going to really look at, which means you could be one of the very few people to make a healthy profit from situations like this. So what's happened recently is President Trump has stepped in and stated the U.S. will intervene sort of as a peacemaker, as a Switzerland per se. to try and get the negotiations of the production cuts hammered out and ironed out. So both countries will supposedly, that's the game plan of Trump, cut production to get oil at healthy prices again. Because again, we want to look at this as a healthy oil market, not so much as, great, my gas is cheap. We don't want an all-out oil price war between the three nations to cause greater stress on the economy right now, because of course, it's the last thing anyone wants. And of course, this could go one of two ways. I'm very optimistic that we could sort this all out between Russia and Saudi Arabia. I think they can come to an agreement, especially with the U.S. stepping in. In the U.S., we have a lot of leverage and a lot of negotiation power here. So I'm sure we'll sort things out. But we're basically looking for a single signal so we can jump in and make a profit off this, because what this has done, while a price war isn't a great thing, it provides great opportunity for us. So we're looking at a single chart here, and this is actually the chart of USO, United States Oil, and you can see that 34% drop in the past few weeks here on this chart, over here on the right-hand side of the screen. Now, one thing I would like to note as well is there's a lot of volume coming in here, as you can see the red and green bars at the bottom. That means there's a lot of selling, and then the green bars means there's a lot of buying. So how this works is if the bar is red, there's more selling than buying. If the bar is green, there's more buying than selling. That's also indicated in the price action here. So as you can see, down here, this price happened extremely sharply on USO. The price came down quite a lot. And we're actually seeing, they're actually decade lows. This chart doesn't show that up here. It only goes back to late 2016. But still, it gives you a good example of how low the price of USO actually is right now. It's sitting around $5 and change at the moment, which is a very cheap investment. But one thing I really wanted to point out here, as you can see, USO works, the price works between a band. It gets up to highs of about 18 and usually settles around just under $10. Now we're at half that right now. Now with commodities, which oil is, with its elasticity, meaning it moves up, it moves down like a rubber band, I don't believe it'll stay down there for that long. I don't think it can survive down there for that long. So I do believe we'll see a quick snap back, which means a big profit if you buy in at the right time. So what I'm looking for here is I'm looking for it to break above around the $7 mark, because that's what really the top of this gap down over here that we saw just a couple weeks ago. So if it can break above that high, for me, I will be buying in, and I could see these production cuts pushing this price up quite sharply, getting back up into this range that we're used to seeing right here. So it may take a couple months on that, but again, it's a very healthy profit at a very cheap price. And that's exactly why I believe the Russia-Saudi oil price war is a great opportunity once we see USO jump above $7. So make sure you're keeping an eye on this. I, of course, will continue reporting on this, and I appreciate you joining me this week. I'll talk to you next time.
Thanks for watching the latest episode of WSI TV. Be sure to visit WSITV.com, where you can subscribe for free with no contract and gain instant access to the secrets of self-made millionaires via the WSI TV Vault. So go ahead and claim this gift for free now at WSITV.com.